to watch it. It was Ubisoft. It was this video right here. Ubisoft thinks you're the problem. And I love this guy's videos. I've been watching his videos a lot more recently. And it's been great, you know. He's got some great points. Some good takes. He seems to be he brings positivity and like a perspective that, unless you're really deep in game news and stuff like that, I feel like you might not know, especially on like developer side and stuff like that. Like there's things that you won't realize until somebody goes and does the research and gets that information and kind of gives it to you or talks about it. So yeah, I wanted to watch this video as well. He's got interesting takes and interesting information. Well, not completely. Like, I haven't watched this video, but in general, he usually has pretty good takes. I know that usually he likes MMOs and RPGs and stuff. So maybe he might have like that's kind of like his like niche of like games, I think, from what I remember seeing and hearing. But for the most part, it feels like his general message is like, hey, just make a good game. And that's like his general message, and it's a good message. And then he's also got like his other stuff that he kind of does, where he kind of like this video. This video will speak for it. Let's get into it.
Ubisoft has crossed the line. In their seemingly never-ending downfall, they have chose to blame you, me, Steve, and everybody else for bashing their games and putting them in financial risk. Never mind the fact that their games on average are premium-priced, microtransaction-infested slop with inflated playtime to push player spending, all the while delivering a gaming experience that's akin to tasteless gruel. No. It couldn't be that. No, it's you. It's your fault. It's the campaigns against their games and their public statements. They're calling us an organized group now. Thought we were just customers. I have never seen a company that has been so committed.
I don't know how he hits so hard with his lines. I can't lie. He's got like this, obviously he's got like scripts and stuff like that. He does this whole essay format, but sometimes the way that he just delivers the message, it just hits. Like, oh, I thought we were just customers. You know?
To putting their own foot in their mouth that they then proceed to swallow their entire leg. I am so happy to watch this company fail because it sends a crystal clear message to the rest of this industry.
Me too, brother. Me fucking too. I can't. I would love to see Ubisoft just fail. Just drop. Please. Drop. Please. I beg. But yeah, they just don't. Like, honestly, all Ubisoft needs to do, this is the worst part, because they've done it before. They know how to do it, and they just don't do it. They're like, oh, I'm just gonna do this instead, and I'm gonna do that, and whatever. Like, dude, you had an amazing fucking trilogy of games, which was the Ezio trilogy, where you took one character and he was charismatic, likable, whatever, and you gave him a story and followed through with that story for multiple games and made him a character that the audience liked and loved and got invested into some degree. And so they got invested and wanted to know the rest of the story. And like that I feel like besides having a good game, good mechanics, whatever, good combat, whatever the case is, besides that stuff, that is what they need. Honestly, they need a character, a likable character again, that they can, and a story that they want to tell. Or maybe it's just one game, like it can be like an entire story, like they've already thought out the 3 games or whatever, and throughout those 3 games or 4 games, that's the story they're telling. Or it can just be one game, and then they think about the next game, kind of like what Last of Us has done, what Naughty Dog has done with Last of Us. But they need to have a game and a story and one character that we use for more than just one game, that allows us to grow with the character, allows us to grow and see the character's growth. It allows us to get attached and basically want to see their story, want to go through with it. And I feel like they need to use that old system again, where I don't know what's wrong with publishers nowadays, but they just don't want to do single player linear gameplay anymore. They all want to go and do freaking MMORPG style games. Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a perfect example. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Origins. Like, why do we need to create these massive maps and create 50,000 missions and quests and stuff like that? Like, why not just have a straight story? Just like, I'm not saying go Tomb Raider, because I guess maybe single player linear style, it might be considered more like a Tomb Raider game, where you basically you go exactly where the game pushes you, and there's nowhere else to go. But just literally redo the games, create the games just like you used to with Assassin's Creed Revelations, Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed 1. Just create the games like that. You don't need all this extra side quests and all this extra this and that and whatever. And then on top of that, all the collectibles and this and that you have to go find and collect and whatever. Dude, no one's trying to do that. I'm sorry to break it to you. Nobody's trying to do that. I already got all the viewpoints that I gotta go to. But if you think I'm going to run around and go and collect everything else when you have 50 million things to collect, I'm not. Black Flag, almost, to be honest, I really liked Black Flag, but Black Flag almost pushed the limit too. Collecting all the sea shanties was pretty cool, but then they had some other stuff that you had to collect, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Unity, I think, had a lot more to collect. And honestly, I don't think I collected it all for Black Flag. Because I kind of just played Black Flag. I didn't really care too much to collect all the sea shanties and whatever else needed to be collected. I don't even know if I hit all the viewpoints. But I know Unity, it was a little bit worse in that sense of collecting stuff, if I'm not mistaken. But I think I did end up going through, opening all the chests, opening or doing all the viewpoints, and collecting the glyphs or whatever, and what's one of the other things? I think they have like the portals or whatever that you would go into in Assassin's Creed Unity. Like one of them, you go back, you go actually forward in time. Sorry. Oh, excuse me. You go forward in time, and you go to World War II. So like, there's stuff like that. I think I remember I did it all. Lockpicking, all the lockpicking chests, all the regular chests, a lot of that stuff. I'm pretty sure I did it all. But once you move past that and you're playing a game like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Origins, or Valhalla, and you gotta sink like 150 hours or 200 hours to complete everything. Like Origins, I'm at 81 hours. Odyssey is the most I played. I'm at 159 hours. And I got Origins and Odyssey. Origins, 80 hours, I guess, isn't too bad. Game is kind of long still because of this whole RPG aspect. Odyssey is 159 hours. And I didn't collect everything. I didn't do all the side quests. I didn't do all that shit. I kind of, honestly, I feel like probably at some point I just started to play the game just to play the game and tried to basically just go through the main missions and get the story and get out. Because it was just a lot. It was just a lot. It was a lot of hours spent just on that one game, where I even had multiple sessions of playing this game. I started, then I stopped for a long while, then I started again, then I stopped for a long while, started again. Like, it's bad in that aspect. Because it's hard to just sit through and just play that one game, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, for 160 hours or more, if you plan on doing more of the other stuff, possibly even longer, just to beat the game and complete the stuff. Like, I'm usually a completionist with this stuff. Like, I like, to some degree, I like to be a completionist, where I would have liked to do all the side quests and all that stuff and then go and do the final main mission or whatever, or be progressing all the side quests and be doing the main missions all together, and then finish the game and know I completed all the missions. But like this, like, brother, it's just too much. It's just way too much. And they need to figure it out. I don't know how good Assassin's Creed Mirage is because I haven't played it. But it seems like people like the character Basim. I guess he's able to, like, abuse the Animus or something. And it seems like they really like him, which is great. But if that is the case, make another game with him. Continue his story. Do a trilogy. Do two games. Like, do something. You know, don't just go and create a new character in a new location every single time. Like, the location doesn't matter. Like, sure, you can create a new location, or like you can do a different location, but try to do the story in a way that allows you to continue with that same character. I don't know. I guess that's just my $20. Because saying 2 cents That was a long ass fucking yap. Can't say 2 cents.
Did you know that you love microtransactions and you think they're fun? Ubisoft says so. With the world at bated breath, waiting for Ubisoft's response to its catastrophic downfall and its constant controversies, they've come forward with their annual financial report, and their investors hammered them with questions they never saw coming. And their CEO fumbled.
I just spilled sparkling water on myself.
They start blaming everybody
Carbonated
else,
water.
disregarding and misrepresenting the needs of players. They start scrambling for excuses when their investors start asking about Assassin's Creed Shadows as well as Star Wars Outlaws, and would you believe it, games journalists are still defending them.
I was really excited for Star Wars Outlaws. It's kind of sad that, like, I even bought the game. Where is it? Is it here? Do I have it in here? No, I don't. It's probably in single player. Star Wars Outlaws. Damn, I have too many games that I need to play. There it is. I was genuinely kind of excited for this game. It was giving me... I forget what kind of vibes it was giving me from the trailer. I briefly remember the trailer, but I forget what kind of vibes it was. Like, I can't remember if it was Last of Us kind of ish vibes, or if it was more of... No, Dark Souls vibes was more of like Jedi Survivor and stuff. Yeah, I don't remember, but it was giving some interesting vibes where it was like, hey, this game's gonna be sick. Like, I think it was Last of Us vibes because it kind of felt like it was a story-driven game where it could have emotionality, I guess maybe is the best way to say it, like emotionality into the game, where you would feel something playing the game, like you would maybe come to like the character, come to hate the character or whatever, and maybe it's like, best way to describe it is literally just thinking back towards like Last of Us, like the first game. Like, you would go and you would hear Joel sitting there being like, Ellie, you're treading on some mighty thin ice. And like that whole like emotional weight that's there in the conversations and in the stuff that's happening. The way that you get attached to the character and want to know the story, and maybe you root for the character, or maybe you don't root for the character. It felt like it had that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a scene in the game where the main character is owing money to somebody, and who knows, maybe they get roughed up a little bit because they're owing money. You know? Like stuff like that. I expected stuff like that from this game, and I haven't played it yet, so I can't really make an opinion on it. But I've heard negative things. I've heard that it's not very great of a game.
But before that, a word from today's sponsor, Displate. Displate makes high-quality metal posters that mount magnetically. No tools, no frames.
I've honestly been considering getting that Displate, because I don't really want to ruin my walls and stuff, like hanging things. Even though at my old house I used to have photos hanging on the wall and stuff like that in my bedroom, but I don't know. And Display kind of sounds nice in that aspect that, hey, I don't gotta put holes in my walls or anything like that. and I can just, you know, get whatever designs of whatever cool things that I want, and that's basically it. And be chilling.
And no wall damage. I've been using these guys for over 5 years now, and I cannot recommend them enough. They've been great through every single move, swap, and everything else. They have over 1 million designs, games, anime, movies, fantasy art, whatever you're into, it's probably on the site. And when I finally get to have a permanent studio set up, I'm planning on dedicating an entire wall to just displays. Some of my favorite anime and games, and maybe I'll even splurge a little bit and get a full texture set or something like that. It is the easiest way that I have found to give a space a bit of personality without trashing the walls. They're super easy to mount, switch out, and they actually look good on camera, at least I think so myself. So if you're looking to decorate or just want a space that doesn't look like a blank white box, check them out. Go to displate.com or follow the link in the description below and use my code LEGENDARY at checkout to get the best deal. Thank you to Displate for sponsoring this video. You would think that after years of collapsing sales, franchise fatigue, and nearly universal backlash, Ubisoft might stop and ask, you know, is there something that we're doing wrong? Is there something that we should learn from this? But instead of...
Yeah. Yeah, there is something wrong. Make a fucking good game.
Reflecting, they've doubled down. In their latest financial report, Ubisoft doesn't describe player frustration as feedback, it calls it bashing. And now, according to them, public criticism isn't just unwelcome, it's a risk factor for the business. Directly from their financial report, it reads, Ubisoft is exposed to risks of damage to its reputation resulting from online bashing, understood as massive, sometimes virulent and organized campaigns of criticism against its products, teams, and public statements. These campaigns may occur on social media, content distribution platforms, or in certain specialized media, particularly following strategic decisions, technical issues affecting games, or statements perceived as controversial by certain segments of the public. The changing perception of the video game industry as a cultural and artistic medium is also leading to an increase in criticism based on ideological or societal considerations, sometimes to the detriment of technical or gameplay aspects. This trend in...
I don't fully understand that part there. Increasing criticism based on ideological or societal considerations, sometimes to the detriment of technical or gameplay aspects. Get wet. Detriment. That which injures or causes damage. That doesn't make fucking sense. How is an increase in criticism based off of what people believe causing detriment to your technical or gameplay aspects? Make it make sense. Like, it's not mechanic. Like, it can't affect mechanics and stuff like that, which is what I think of when I think of gameplay aspects. And technical, I'm thinking maybe more like optimization and stuff like that, or like I'm thinking like that sort of thing, like maybe optimization or maybe numbers or code or whatever. That's what I'm kind of thinking of. It shouldn't be affecting that. Not even in the slightest.
Increases the risk of publishers such as Ubisoft of being exposed to controversy relating to social, moral, or identity standards associated with their productions. Man, Ubisoft immediately shows their hand. According to them, the problem isn't the state of their games, it's you, it's the community, it's the backlash, the people that are pointing out what's broken. In their minds, you're not offering feedback, you're mounting an organized campaign. You're not frustrated by years of recycled open worlds and corporate ideology infecting every creative decision. No, you're just part of a virulent trend. Then they go as far to say that society...
That's fucked up.
Idle criticism is distracting from technical or gameplay aspects, as if those two things are not directly connected to each other, as if games don't suffer when they're built around shallow politics, performative casting, and tone-deaf writing instead of just cohesive gameplay and coherent worlds. This is what happens.
That makes a lot more sense. Using ideological beliefs to construct the game, that's a problem. That can be a problem.
Happens when a publisher is more concerned with optics than outcomes. They stop listening, they stop reflecting, and they start categorizing criticism itself as a threat to be neutralized. This is not a studio that's taking responsibility. This is a studio that is pathologizing dissent. These guys work for the CDC now. It's a desperate attempt to frame public frustration as some kind of unfair attack because, well, the alternative would be admitting that maybe, just maybe, people might actually have a point. But hey, at least they're identifying the problem, right? At least they see that something is broken, that people are pointing something out. That is a step in the right direction, or at least it would be until you read how they plan to mitigate this risk. In order to prevent and limit these risks, Ubisoft is implementing...
I remember listening to this because I was watching this video like earlier today. Like maybe 6 hours ago, 5 hours ago. This is fucking wild. In order, actually, I'll let him read it, but I'll probably end up saying the exact same thing as him afterwards, kind of to an extent, but I'll let him read it.
Monitoring crisis management and content moderation systems has adapted its communication strategy to reflect this new context, and its legal and human resources departments have developed appropriate processes to respond to these attacks on its reputation. Also, calls on external partners to support in its monitoring and crisis management strategy. So just to be clear, Ubisoft's solution to being criticized for making bad games is to surveil and suppress, not to fix the games, not to list.
The main part that I would want to point out is they're saying that they're gonna bring in legal and human resources for people that are going against or not necessarily, well, yeah, going against, but also like basically just saying anything bad about their game. That they're bringing their legal departments into it and their human resources into it, and that's just fucked up. That's just fucked up on every level. Like what, you gonna sue them? Defamation? Because they don't like the game and they think that what you're doing is shit? Come on, bro.
And crisis management strategy. So just to be clear, Ubisoft's solution to being criticized for making bad games is to surveil and suppress. Not to fix the games, not to listen, not to examine the very clear reasons why people are upset. No, their answer is reputation monitoring, crisis management protocols, and content moderation systems. Basically PR fire suppression. They didn't build new pipelines for player feedback. They're building systems to be able to deflect it. They're not improving their output. They're building defenses against people pointing out the rot. They even roped in legal and HR because now apparently criticism is a workplace threat, because if somebody says this game sucks a little bit too loud online, Ubisoft wants a team of lawyers and crisis handlers ready to classify it as reputational damage. That's how...
That's exactly what I was basically talking about. I know, that's why I said I'm pretty sure he ends up I would end up saying something similar to what he says. That's the part right there. Like what? Like let's.
Somebody says this game sucks a little bit too loud online. Ubisoft wants a team of lawyers and crisis handlers ready to classify it as reputational damage.
To classify it as reputational damage and to go after them with like lawyers and whatever, and have responses set up with human resources and to suppress and whatever, and like, dude, seriously? That's their plan? You gotta be kidding.
That's how fragile these people have become. And just to tie it all off, they include external partners. Ubisoft is almost certainly referring to platform holders here. Steam, Xbox, PlayStation. They're not bringing these people in to be able to improve their...
I thought Steam were the good guys, though. So, like, what's going on there? Like, I thought they were the good guys. Like, why? I don't know.
work, they're bringing them in to be able to monitor you, keep tabs on you, flag dissent, control perception, and
Like, it's hard to believe Steam would do that.
in fact, we know that's the case because last year it was reported that Ubisoft was asking Steam to hide concurrent player data. This isn't risk mitigation, it's image management at the expense of reality. They're more invested in preserving the illusion of quality than actually achieving it. And if you've ever wondered why this industry feels so hollow right now, why it feels like no one in power is actually listening, this is why. If Ubisoft actually wanted to win players back, they'd be focused on quality, on listening to the overwhelming amount of feedback that they've been getting about how much people hate the way that they've designed their games and how they're paying full price for single-player games only to find them packed with microtransaction shops, battle pass mechanics, and pay-to-progress.
It is fucking wild. A lot of fucking games have... Like, I can't... honestly... Besides Naughty Dog games, which nowadays, the new ones that come out don't even have multiplayers anymore. But besides Naughty Dog games, I can't think of a game that doesn't have microtransactions, that doesn't have battle passes in some way, shape, or form, cosmetics, this, that, whatever. Like, there's not very many games, or basically no games, that have that. That old system. Like, I don't know if I would want that old system completely of, like, for example, Black Ops 1. How they would release DLCs that you would be able to buy, and you'd get maps and weapons and stuff like that. I don't know if I would want a system like that, or if I would just want a system like other games. Like I guess best way to describe it is other Naughty Dog games, like multiplayer Naughty Dog games. Like The Last of Us multiplayer factions. It was pretty good. They didn't bombard you with no. Well, they kind of did. It wasn't all released at once. I happened to not buy it in the beginning, so when I went to buy it, I had more to buy all at once, so it affected me more. But they started off with just the base game, no battle passes, but battle passes weren't a thing at the time. But it's not like when they remastered the game or something, or whatever the case is, it's not like they went and added battle passes to the new game or whatever, or added a bunch of cosmetics or whatever. It made sense the way they did it. They added customization stuff like hats or whatever. If you wanted to get those, you could, so that you could make your character look better, but it had no gameplay significance, which cosmetics are fine, I guess, realistically. And then they had DLCs that they released, but it's not like they had a yearly battle pass that you were paying for all the time. They had DLCs that they would release every, I don't know, once a year or whatever the case is. Maybe it was twice a year. I don't really know. And with those passes or those DLCs, they would add maybe a new weapon and some new perks and some new maps, maybe, or it would just be some, like, they actually had very specific things that you could get. So like you could just buy perks, like a specific set of perks, or you could buy or I think perks and weapons came together, so you could buy those. And no, perks came separate, weapons came separate, and weapons came in groups. So you'd get one like little weapon pack or whatever, weapon bundle, and it would be 4 weapons altogether. So you get 4 weapons there, 4 weapons here, another 4 weapons. So they had maybe 3 in total. And then you had perk sets as well, so they would have like maybe 3 or 4 perk set things as well that would come with 4 perks in them. So you were paying for 4 weapons and 4 perks multiple times, but those released, I think, only one. Like, it didn't release like on a monthly basis or something. Like, it released sporadically throughout the time that it was a game that people were playing. And I feel like that's kind of the way to go about it. Like, not necessarily doing like live service game, not necessarily doing battle passes and other stuff like that. Like, some people don't have time to do battle passes. Some people just want to hop in the game. They want to play, and they don't want to feel like they're missing out on something because they don't have the time to sit down and play through a battle pass or play through the game and complete a battle pass. I don't know.
Shortcuts, but instead, their financial report spends paragraphs trying to justify it. And I quote, "New methods of gaming and forms of monetization have emerged in recent years on PC and consoles. This is the case in particular with free-to-play and subscription models, which in parallel with the premium model, offer a possibility of reaching a wider and more diverse public and strengthening player engagement." Followed by the real punchline, the monetization offer within premium games makes the player experience more fun by allowing them to personalize their avatars and progress more quickly. However, this is always optional. Yes, microtransactions, famously fun. I love paying to skip parts of a game that I just paid $70 for. Players all over the world right now are begging for more economic friction in their escapist hobbies, right? Look, man, I get it. People do engage with microtransactions. I've done it. If I love a game, I'll support it, but that's not what's happening here. This isn't about rewarding great work. It's about forcing monetization into single-player games that were never designed for it. And when you do that, you break the very reason why people play those games. Just look at Assassin's Creed Shadows. Some of the coolest looking equipment, gear that's not just cosmetic, by the way, is locked behind a premium shop. In a full-priced RPG, why explore? Why hunt for secrets and search every single corner of the map if you know that the best stuff isn't in the world, it's in your wallet?
That's fucked up. The idea that, like, I don't know why companies do this, but it's almost as if they put the good stuff basically only in the store. And when they do that, you basically are kind of screwed. Like, you can't do anything. You're just kind of sitting there like, oh, okay. And I didn't think of this until he actually made this take. It was only after he made this take that I realized how flawed it is and how bad it is. Like, it's silly. Like, you don't realize that if they put everything that's good into the store, why explore the map? You can just go and buy the best stuff, or buy the stuff that makes you look the coolest or whatever, or the stuff that makes you the strongest. You can buy all that stuff right off the hop and be chilling and not have to worry about going and exploring the world all that much. I don't know.
And of course, it's not like it stops there. The entire base building mechanic in Assassin's Creed Shadows, which directly affects progression and power, is strangled behind resource collection limits. The most valuable resources, or the most amount of resources that you can capture, you have to call in supply runs, but those calls are limited and recharge over time. It's like a fucking mobile game. So what's their solution? Well, buy resource bundles with real money. That is intentional design. That is a system that is built around monetization in a premium game. It doesn't matter what game it is, if you want to sell microtransactions, the game has to create a need for it. That means limiting rewards, padding out progression, and turning achievement into frustration, and that always comes at the cost of enjoyment. These companies treat microtransactions like a silver bullet for profit, but they have a ceiling. They can only make sense in certain types of games, and single-player RPGs are not one of them. If anything, they poison the entire experience, and players aren't just opting out of these games, they're walking away consciously because they don't want to engage with any of this crap, and subconsciously because they're not rewarded properly and the game just doesn't feel good to play anymore. I don't think that Ubisoft is ever going to come to terms with this, because in doing so, that would mean confronting a truth that they have spent years refusing to see. This is a company that does not want to be in touch with reality. I remember when I was speaking with former and current Ubisoft employees during one of my earlier investigations, some of them had survived the layoffs, but others hadn't. But one thing that they all pointed to was the exact same, a culture of toxic positivity. A QA specialist had told me that they were not allowed to directly tell somebody what they did wrong. They could only share solutions. You couldn't criticize, you couldn't identify the problem, you could only reframe failure as a soft, vague suggestion. And oh, by the way, make sure to put a smiley face at the end of your email, otherwise you might be in an HR meeting. At Ubisoft, ignorance is bliss. That mindset infects everything. You can see it now, you can see it plain as day, especially when Ubisoft now turns around and blames the current reputation of the Star Wars franchise for the underperformance of Star Wars Outlaws, as if that explains anything, as if people didn't love Rogue One, as if Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor weren't some of the best-selling Star Wars games of the last decade. Even Battlefront 2, the game that was once dragged for its monetization, has now found new life. Star Wars is fine. What isn't fine is them. The only thing holding any project back, game, show, or movie, is quality. It's whether the audience enjoys it, whether it's fairly priced, whether it respects the time and the attention of the people that showed up to support it. But instead of aiming for that, Ubisoft keeps chasing these top-down, politically correct visions of demographic reach, convincing themselves that if they just hit every checkbox and if they pack it full of microtransactions, that they'll just manufacture success. It's fucking delusion, and worse, it's disconnection. These executives are not living in the same world as the rest of us. Lack of accountability, suppressed feedback, deflection. These are the things that are killing Ubisoft right now, and they're going to keep killing Ubisoft until there's nothing left, until the last studio that they have is just quietly swallowed up by Tencent. Staying in tune with your audience, relating to them, understanding their needs, and evolving with them, these things are not optional. It is the bare minimum, and for whatever reason, Ubisoft feels like they are just immune to it. Crisis management for a video game company. Are you guys kidding me? Nowhere in the 400-page financial report, yes, I read the entire thing, unfortunately.
Jeez.
Not a single time did they bring up how feedback against their games was valid in any way, or that their games need to...
600 pages. If I were to read that, dude, I would be here the rest of tonight and all of tomorrow and into the evening tomorrow, and probably fall asleep early. Wait. Oh my god, I'm fucking going crazy. I'm starting to lose it.
The report, yes, I read the entire thing, unfortunately. Not a single time did they bring up how feedback against their games was valid in any way.
If I were to read that entire report, dude, I would be here for days. Fucking days. I can't read that fast, homie. Even in school, I was kind of like the slower reader.
Or that their games need to change in any significant way. It's just monitoring, watching, monetization strategies and trends. The only thing I saw related to quality was them saying that it seems that today players are more sensitive to quality. No shit, Sherlock. You guys are charging $70 for video games, $80 in some cases, and half the time they can't even run on a 4090. What do you expect? You guys are selling sailboats without a mast and handing players a paddle and saying figure it out. Sorry, selling players a paddle with diamonds for $29.99, completely optional. Microtransactions are fun. Fuck you. That's all I have to say. That level of delusion is only enjoyed by people that are so detached from reality that they cannot even comprehend what it is like to relate to just common people. Things are already so hard for people in the middle class and lower class right now. There's so much extra chip damage. Everything is so expensive. Do you think people really want this stuff in their single-player games? What are you thinking? It's fun. If you guys thought that that was the worst of it, we're not even close to being done yet. Because after this financial report, Ubisoft ended up having a Q&A with their investors. And these guys came out swinging. I'm talking brutal, monstrous questions that these guys were just not ready for. And Ubisoft's CEO did not handle it well. Ubisoft has managed to place itself at the center of nearly every single industry controversy over the last half-decade. Their stock price hasn't recovered, investor confidence is still shaky, and during this month's annual town hall, leadership was pressed hard about the company's future, their social ideologies used in Assassin's Creed Shadows, its performance, and more. Yves Guillemot, Ubisoft's CEO, fielded questions directly in a live Q&A following a series of bold claims about the company's strategy, financials, and public perception. And wouldn't you know it, games journalists tried to cover for them and reframe the criticism. Lewis Packwood of GamesIndustry.biz summarized the questions in an article titled "Nothing is Written in Stone. Ubisoft Head Responds to Stop Killing Games Petition." They write, first they asked him about Assassin's Creed Shadows, which stars a real-life 16th century African samurai. The questioner asked, there's been a lot of controversy regarding that game, adding that Ubisoft has been accused and criticized for this wokest trend. So woke or no woke, he continued. How do you explain Ubisoft's deteriorated reputation, which may actually challenge the foundations of your organization? Or are you going to backtrack or backpedal on this leftist political agenda? Is there room in the entertainment world for that kind of stance? Second, the questioner brought up Stop Killing Games, citing the crew specifically. He said, so do you support the petition? At the end of the day, when a player buys a Ubisoft game, do they own it, or facing a character that has been extremely successful, and that is why we decided to tell that story. In regards to the second question, Guillemot noted Ubisoft provides information for how long a game can be played and that players are forewarned when a game is about to be discontinued. You provide a service, but nothing is written in stone. At some point, a service may be discontinued. Nothing is eternal, and we're doing our best to make sure that things go well for all players and buyers, because obviously support for all games can't let... Here's the question, it just avoids it, and that's the problem. When both the media and leadership refuse to engage, we wanted to showcase a hero's journey. Everybody wants to play a hero's journey. It's a powerful expectation. This isn't just about Ubisoft or manga series. This is someone who really existed, and showcasing that character has been extremely successful. None of this actually answers the question, it just avoids it, and that's the problem. When both the media and leadership refuse to engage honestly with criticism, when they pretend that it's not happening or they rewrite it to sound easier to dismiss, these studios never learn the right lessons. That's how you end up with games that alienate their audiences and underperform. The whole reason why players are complaining is specifically because these games are full of characters that don't blend in with the game. They stand out, they make a statement, that's what they're there to do, and it's obvious that that statement is one that is clearly not resonating with their core audiences that Ubisoft built these franchises.
That's fucking crazy.
With the game, they stand out, they make a statement, that's what they're there to do, and it's obvious that that statement is one that is clearly not resonating with their core audiences that Ubisoft built these franchises for.
Imagine creating a game, it not resonating with the core audience, and I guess imagine maybe some of the other people that would be working on that game and like seeing how much they might I guess struggle, or how much they may I guess maybe like how negative they might be. And like just not.
It blows my mind. Statement. That's what they're there to do, and it's obvious that that statement is one that is clearly not resonating with their core audience.
Like imagine doing like imagine creating a game and just not, like, the game's not hitting the core audience. It's not, nobody fucking likes it, whatever, and instead of changing it, you do what Ubisoft is doing. Or instead of getting it to be likable like some of the other games that have been around, you're just, oh yeah, no, game's not that, game might be popular or whatever, but it's only a few people, I'm just, it's only like one person or something, I'm just going to, keep pushing whatever I'm pushing and doing my ideological, or just like whatever they quote unquote think is right, but clearly they're not looking through the numbers.
Is that Ubisoft built these franchises for. It blows my mind that we still cannot have this conversation openly. Developers need to come to terms with the reality that the values that they want to express aren't always going to be shared by their audience, and when those ideas are handled with zero nuance, when the writing is shallow, when the characters are visual repellent, and everything else feels like it was designed to provoke rather than connect, it's going to backfire. These games don't showcase identity, they parade it around like it's a warning label. We're seeing this in other games too, with unattractive characters. It's as if they think that they can just make people like ugly by forcing it into every single game design. Guys, nobody wants to buy a lecture. I am here to buy a video game. I mean, Guillemot said it himself. They chose to showcase Yasuke because they saw he was already extremely successful. In other words, they saw him trending somewhere else, they saw him used somewhere else, and they decided to repurpose that image to serve their own narrative. They then layered on a romance subplot with a trans character, not because it actually served the story, but because it helped tick every single possible demographic box in a blind attempt to reach a wider audience. But all it does is just tokenize those identities by having it appear somewhere out of place. It flattens these complex social issues and realities into marketing beats. This is not representation, this is opportunism. And trying to spin that backlash as players being uncomfortable with a black protagonist is just insulting. It's so lazy. These games aren't being rejected because of who's in them. They're being rejected because they suck and people can see straight through the intent. Because these stories feel hollow, these characters feel forced, and the audience that you're trying to pander to, this so-called virtuous crowd that you see on the internet you're trying to impress, they don't even show up to buy your games.
That's rough. Actually, speaking of, do you guys think everybody that works at Ubisoft, do you think they have to buy the games themselves? Or do you think that I guess you could say the neurotic side of the brain is just finally doing things, such as
feel forced, and the audience that you're trying to pander to, this so-called virtuous crowd that you see on the internet you're trying to impress, they don't even show up to buy. Guillemot dodged it entirely. I also had noticed how a lot of writers conveniently left out the very first question in the Q&A, a direct ask about the budget and sales performance of a...
Yeah. Like, the people that are working on the game, I wonder if they get the game for free, and I wonder if they actually like the game that they're working on nearly as much as, I guess, other people. Hmm. I want to put out kind of like a little mini disclaimer. I'm kind of starting to pass out. Just a little bit, just slightly. So I'm going to be losing my train of thought more, which I've already been. I think the goal is going to be just get through this video and then call it a night. I was hoping to get some Kovacs in, or maybe get some Red Dead Redemption 2 in, but like this, that's probably not gonna happen.
Assassin's Creed Shadows. Guillemot dodged it entirely, saying that Ubisoft doesn't disclose its sales or production costs, but in the same breath then admitted that they had over 5 million players and that it cost over 100 million euro to make, and it also required a very heavy investment into its engine. Seeing that most AAA games today, especially open world games, cost over $300 million to make, and even if we're being generous and pretending that the 5 million players actually means 5 million units sold, which we know it doesn't because that also has their subscription services in there, and even if we assume that every copy sold was sold for $70, which it hasn't because the game has already been on sale multiple times and is currently on sale for 25% off just 4 months after its release, you're still looking at a game that only made $350 million in gross revenue before Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation take their cuts. And let's be real, profitable, high-performing games don't get discounted this fast unless something went wrong, especially from a publisher in Ubisoft's financial condition. I make these videos because I want the industry to learn, because I'm hoping that somebody is actually listening, and I try to make sure that these criticisms and my points are laser-focused so that they can't be taken out of context, even though they likely will regardless of whatever I say. But I want people to be heard. I want players to be heard. I want people's identities to be protected and respected and properly represented and not turned into fucking campaign talking points more than anything. Just own up to your mistakes. Make a good game. You're making games for people, not for demographics. Then they go on to stop killing games. I love that line that they put in. You provide a service, but nothing is written in stone. At some point, a service may be discontinued. Nothing is eternal. We're trying to do our best for both players and buyers. That's crazy, man. All my N64 games and PS2 games, those were they services or products? Because they still work right now. Notice how they phrase it. Both players and buyers. Notice how we're already being separated into classes. You know, I just realized recently that the reason why these companies have been changing to reporting players instead of units sold, one side benefit is that they actually get to hide their performance, but the other part of it is to just erase the idea of ownership. It's slimy as hell, but that's exactly why they're doing it. Because he's calling games a service even when he's still talking about buyers, but you can't buy a service. You pay for a service. You subscribe to a service. Buying is the act of acquiring something. You don't acquire that. It's not yours. I didn't know that these executives could rewrite the laws of language to be able to suit their quarterly earnings call. I genuinely do not think that these corporations or a lot of these companies have just caught up to the modern era and how fast information travels, and they don't realize how easy it is for regular people to see through their bullshit. All the constant reframing, all the things that they take out of context, the corporate doublespeak, everything they use to be able to manipulate these narratives in their favor. It used to work, but it doesn't work anymore. And right now, all people want is humility and accountability, and they're getting neither of those. And the longer that continues to go on, the more these companies are going to continue to suffer, and the more of these companies that are just going to go out of business entirely. And as you guys already know, I am here for it. Please keep doing what you're doing, because then that means that other companies, a lot of these indie publishers that actually understand what the needs of players are today, that are supporting some of the grassroots movements within this industry, some of the people that are actually going out and supporting Stop Killing Games publicly, those are the guys that are going to take over. And those are the people that I want running this industry. That's all I got. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, share it with your friends. Follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter.
All right. So yeah, this game seems like it has some photo edge or just kind of or I guess just kind of like a ref, to be able to count back and forth how much one plate is taking, how much another plate is taking, whatever.
Just stay safe. Friday. Today is Friday. Or is it? Depending on where you watch it. Or when you watch it. Anyway, stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
This shit is hilarious.
Go to displate.com or follow the link in the description below and use my code LEGENDARY at checkout to get the best deal. Thank you to Displate for sponsoring this video. Ubisoft has crossed the line.
Well, I didn't mean to do that. But yeah. I feel like I agree with a lot of the statements in that. The ones that I spoke about mainly. It's not... I can't see. I barely can see. Because my eyes are like closing on me, but... It's... The things that Ubisoft are doing and the decisions that they make, it seems like it's not in the best interest of the company. It's not in the best interest of the players. It seems almost like maybe it's all just selfish in the way that it does thing. Like the way that it does, or the way that it handles game development. What the held a message for held a message for reason, smart detection. Allow will post it to chat. That's funny. I'm gonna just deny that. Like I don't even know why he would even say that. I don't even have a camera on. Like, who am I shaking ass to, brother? Dude literally said, shake some ass for a clip farm. Brother, the camera isn't even on. Who am I shaking ass to? Anyways. It's been real. It's been a good time. I'm starting to fall asleep too much right now. I can't keep myself awake. And I got work tomorrow morning, so it's not that big of a deal because I have to go get rest for work anyways. But, you know, maybe we'll catch some Kovacs and some single player gameplay tomorrow. For now, I'm just gonna head out. Thank you so much for hanging out. It's been a good time. And I'm gonna head out. Peace.